I was looking at all the messages, over 200 messages.
I love you so much, and it hurts.
How much can you find out about an individual in such a short period of time?
For a bit now, I've been thinking that I'm going to end up losing you.
Katherine, as a kid, she was a bubbly one. She would always help out. If someone asked her to do something, she would try and do it. She had problems in high school because she got bullied an awful lot. She never told me she wanted another boyfriend or anything. She was very determined. If she wanted to do it, she did it. If she didn't want to do it, you know she didn't want to do it.
Katherine goes on Plenty of Fish, a common website for dating, and almost immediately she finds a person that she's attracted to.
Katherine turned up with this guy. He was quite big built, and he said his name was Tony. And I took one look at him and I thought, oh my God, you could do a hell of a lot better than that. And I told her straight. I didn't like him right from the start. There was something about him I couldn't put my finger on. I think it was, she was lonely at the time. All her friends was in relationships and she wanted to be in a relationship. I couldn't really tell you if they were in love or not. I didn't think it would last long. I saw the ring and my first reaction said, oh, that's not a real ring. And she said, yes, it is. We bought it yesterday, so we're engaged now. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, leave me alone, Mum. Oh, right, fine. Tony had to be wherever Katherine was. And Katherine couldn't go anywhere without Tony. He didn't like it because when Katherine was with the baby, he wasn't allowed there. And he didn't like that at all. He was checking her phone to make sure she wasn't talking to anybody else, like any boys or anything. Although he knew she had a lot of boyfriends, as in friends. And that's so, I think it was the wrong relationship for her. But I tried telling her, but she wouldn't listen.
It was that level of intense, controlling behaviour that gave us an insight into the man we were dealing with.
I know he actually hit her at least once because she was covered in bruises on her arm. Although she tried to say that she slipped and banged her arm, but you could see the finger marks on her arm. It really made me feel angry.
We know that Katherine wasn't happy now with this relationship, to the point where she was considering forming a relationship with an ex-partner, described as the love of her life and I think her first love.
It was an atmosphere between Katherine and him at that point.
He was jealous, violent, controlling man, and he didn't want Katherine to have any conversation with anybody.
The hint of the presence of an ex shattered this myth, shattered this romantic fantasy that Tony was creating. Once gone, the damaged personality was fully exposed.
They left Tonguin Lice Rugby Club, Katherine, Anthony Lowe. Katherine was driving, she dropped the friends off, and then she went home to her house.
And we know from CCTV that they returned at around about 10:20 that evening.
I went away with a couple of friends last night. This morning I had messages off her boyfriend. What's your friend's name? Katherine Smith. Oh, what did he say? You're still there?
Knock at the door, there were 2 policemen doing a welfare check. And at first I didn't know anything about it. I said, well, my son's just gone off to college, my husband's in there and I'm okay. I said, what the hell's going on?
Please! Camera.
And they find Katherine lifeless on the floor. It was a horrific scene.
Extensive bleeding, injuries to the head. There is a knife protruding from the side.
Katherine had in fact been stabbed 33 times with a serrated knife that had been taken from the kitchen at the address. Family liaison officers would have been dispatched to Katherine's mother to break that terrible news to her.
We got some bad news. I said, don't tell me something's happened. And he said, well, it's 99% chance we found her in the flat murdered. And that's, my life went down the drain from there.
The focus now is on Tony. He has carried out this brutal murder. The focus is now to try and capture him as quickly as possible so that he doesn't harm anyone else or potentially harm himself. We know he's in a vehicle, and so we've got the registration number of that vehicle, so that would be circulated to all police units within the area to keep an eye out for that vehicle. But obviously some proactive investigations will be taking place as well with automatic number plate recognition, ANPR, which is able to read number plates and alert the police proactively to say that that vehicle has just passed a camera.
After the police told me what happened, I went to visit one of my friends just to get my head round things more than anything. I was scared because I didn't know what was going on. The next minute I know, my phone went off with Tony's name on it. I read his name and I felt really sick. The only part that I can remember was, I'm so sorry, I killed your daughter, make sure the police comes in first.
It reminds me of somebody talking to a priest. It's as if, having said it, they are in some way exonerated. They are in some way cleansed of what they've done. It's a device that people use, but I think it's more than that.
They needed my phone because he was trying to text me to find out what was going on.
The police inquiries quickly established that Tony is on the move into England and he's heading for the area of Bristol. The police are in communication with Tony to the point where they're able to zone in and locate him just outside a supermarket in Weston-super-Mare.
My two police liaison officers came and said, we've got him, he's in custody.
Having killed Katherine, Tony is contacting other females that he would like to meet up with, which is extremely worrying considering what he's just done to his fiancée.
Logging back on to hit the online dating to find somebody else, a replacement for Katherine, a desperate need for him to restore this other side of his personality in the only way that he knows how, through an adoring relationship with a woman.
This was a man who had convictions for violence against staff at shops, but more significantly, he had a history of violence towards women.
Katherine had sustained 33 separate stab wounds.
They said, we're hoping that we can get there before he jumps off the bridge. I said, I'd rather him jump than you get him. I said, if you can get him, get him. And I said, before I get him.
What you have is a violent individual who's on the run, who is also indicating that they may take their own life. One of the primary objectives of being a police officer is to save life, no matter what that individual has done. And ultimately, you want to bring that person to justice. For them to take their own life is almost a bit of a cop-out, and actually, you know, it's important that they face justice for what they've done.
The first stab wound was the fatal one, which I thank God for that, because I thought if it wasn't, she would have been in so much pain. And I thought he must have planned it, as far as I'm concerned, the amount of stab wounds that he actually did. The first day of the court case, he still denied it. Everything's just gone. So he's taken not only my daughter, my life as far as I'm concerned. Even now, I've still got her on my phone. I cannot delete her. I still send off a balloon for her birthday, Christmas, anniversary of the death.